So how is the world of Drajeweled actually standing up to the market? You guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. So how is Drajeweled actually standing up to the market right now? Well, if you wanted these Magnuses, these are 420 big ones a piece, which is kind of crazy. Come on down here to the old Drajeweled. I mean, 145 is pretty nice. It looks like Magnus FFRs are 60s. Looks like the old mask build is still $30 for this, which is hilarious. And then $30 boxes of Dragon Soul Resonance, which is crazy. But your takeaway here, the Drajeweleds are not all that expensive. It looks like you're at $10 for Magnuses, and they are actually bought out right now. So there is something to be said about that. So, I mean, it's to be expected. I do think that this will calm down over time. Ignis is coming in at 5s. This is actually not too terrible, yeah. Interesting to see the Master Deck set versions basically wiped out of existence. Okay. Next up here, the Demonic Stone Dragon. $45 for these. Looks like 13s. Rockagores are still 8s. And then you just kind of dip on down here. Rockagore's still incredibly cheap. You know, when they make better versions of the same support, you know, basically giving you the ability to play how many of these, you know, is kind of crazy. So Symphony of Might and Bloom. This set actually was, it looks like it was a perceived failure on the secondary market, just based on what we got right now. We have 2 cases at 860 piece. We did see that Seraph Clearlights last week, at least for low rarities, had disappeared. Most of the mid-range stuff has been doing pretty alright right now. FFR Clearlights, 110. Trickstar and Sudinis coming in at 95s. It's actually not bad. The Die Kaiser coming in at 74, which, by the way, is an amazing art. I know a few people are going to be very happy to have, you know, those. Looks like Bravern's coming in at 49s. A lot of this Bravern stuff, at least for the higher rarity stuff, is kind of decently priced, honestly. 25 bucks. Just depends on what you want to pick up. Boxes are floating about the $34 mark. I do believe these actually have rebounded upwards a little bit, considering, you know, what we were dealing with previously. Trickstar and Sudanese 21s. SR for Virina Arcs are 24s. I do think that we will see a little bit of a shift around. Seraph Clearlights have repopulated. We're back down to 15 bucks now, which is actually not too bad. Looks like SR Harmonias are 11s. Looks like just like the high mid-range stuff has disappeared. Virina Arcs, I mean, these are 11s. It's not terrible. It's the good news is once we get further away from the existing meta, I think a lot of this stuff's going to drop down in price, which will be pretty nice. These are 5s for SRs. That's actually not terrible at all, man. I expected this stuff to be a lot worse. There's your Demonic Jewel Dragon coming in a whole $4 a piece. This is one of the few times you can see the SR being about the same price as the actual regular version. That's interesting. Kais Reigns are a whole $2 a piece. Wow, we really just are hitting all of the keynotes here that you would expect to see. These $3 now. Those looks like they're kind of getting low on listings. Looks like a lot of this stuff is kind of teetering on low listings. These have finally dropped down to $2 a piece. The other thing is, like, these 2 collab decks are not like the greatest in terms of what you expected them to be. I do think, you know, a few people are going to have fun with them. Regular versions of these are dollars. So, I don't know, man. It's an interesting timeline to see. Let's go. I want to specifically look at the commons here, EXCs. PGs are $1.25s, crits are dollars. Looks like we're now underneath $1 for the heals. Okay, well, the fact that we're now underneath $1 for the heals, that's really, really nice. Dissection Angels. This is probably the one of the generic Catter staples that's been kind of propped up on a pedestal as of late, and also just is a very, very good card. looks like 35s, and then it's crazy because these are actually like completely wiped out. These are 31s. We're going on up to 35s, and then if you want FFRs, you're spending $120. It's $480 on a playset of these if you're actually trying to mess around with these, which is super crazy. Happy Dreaming Festa. We are at 4 listings for this as a $4 to $5 card. And so if you have Vanguard or Leonore and you can counter blast 1, look at top 7, choose up to 2 grade 1 or less rear guards and call them on to rear guard. Technically, we can call triggers with this, which is kind of nice. I'll give them a little bit of credit with that, which is kind of nice. I don't know. It's just another free extender locked behind an actual freaking common. Like if you got common bulk, this is very, very worth it. Willistas. Did you guys know Willista's been like the best like generic support that we've kind of had floating around out here, just for like the ride lines. Why, like, you're wondering why the expanding world Willistas are like $30. Well, that's why. It's literally the generic sort of support that you want to see. Outside of that, I mean, $40 on the grade 1 is kind of crazy. It's crazy how much the LSR dropped, though, because, you know, we used to have that old Lupin Premium that we were able to do. It's kind of stupid. $2. These are down to dollars for the Festa Magica. So that's the reason why this ride line still even has any sort of use. It's because it toggles you into free discard fodder. So you take those. Mr. Rotting Oopserp himself. $20 on the haul. Now, keep in mind, we are going to have the beautiful alt art coming for this. It's one of my favorite arts in the course of the game. And, you know, $20 is a lot. I'm glad to see, though, the comments have calmed down. $3 is a lot more manageable on the front end than dealing with some of the other insane price shifts out there. Wow. Maedith has completely left the room. So we have all of this deep land stuff coming here in the future, and depending on how this deck actually enters into the metagame stage, I think we'll see some interesting little takeaways. But if the market here is telling us that this is at this stage, that's wild. What has been our best selling on promos? Promos are always one of the Gravidia Tissant. What is this? This was the rear guard if you have Vanguard Gravita, counter boss 1, draw 1, and grade 3 guard Norlinger. This gets 5k, and then you can Energy Blast or retire this. Choose a unit with Gravita with a different name from your drop and put it in your hand. I mean, I believe this is part of the new set of promos, right? We also got the Fjord Frey Dragon, which is $3. Philias are still riding at 14s. Looks like Cindy's have gone down. This awkward critical that just kind of came out of nowhere is at like $4 still. It's a pretty common thing. Scarlet Flames have also calmed down. You're now riding the line at $30, which is very good. Drag Wizard 9 or Astros's. These are 10s with 1 listing on the foil. That's a little bit interesting. You don't really think about that. Sylvanhorn Beast coming in at 4. Looks like most of these promos have actually kind of calmed down a little bit. Flairville at $4. We will be getting another set of those probably about the middle of summer, if I had to guess. We're down to 5s on these. Let's see here. Plant tokens are just the alt arts are 4 to 5s. I guess that makes sense when you're looking at things. People want nice tokens, but they didn't want the weird looking ones that came out of the last set, which is not a disappointing thing to say. Nizrach here is a $3 card. It's actually not terrible for the Evil Eye support. I'm all for very cheap promos, man. Like, it's actually a godsend to actually see. High Fives have actually left the building. They're now at $43 a piece for the foils. I actually just sold one. It's so crazy to think about how much value some of this stuff actually does have. So it looks like your promos are doing basically what you expected them to. You got a couple of weird ones floating around, but I mean, this week looks pretty tame on the market, and that's actually kind of a nice thing. So please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.